Yo, what's going on, people? Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for me. Yeah, I just got done watching this Wilder Chisora press conference, and that shit sucked. Like that was not. I'm not feeling this whole buddy buddy vibe. You know, it's not interesting. I don't need the WWE stuff. You know, you don't have to be disrespectful. You know, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't need that to be excited about a fight. But they're just too friendly, you know. They're too friendly, and it's annoying. You know, they're just it. The energy is weird. I don't know. I mean, they got this new guy, DAZN. I don't know his name. This light skinned dude, and credit to him, man. Like, he was trying. He was trying to make it interesting. You know, he was bringing up Wilder's losses. You know, he was really trying to provoke Wilder, you know, Simon Jordan style, and bring up Tyson Fury and the losses and the knockouts. And, you know, Wilder just wasn't going. So, you know, I hope that this doesn't transfer over into the fight. You know, I hope that these guys are really ready to throw hands, because I don't know, dude. I'm gonna say it now. I got a suspicion that this fight is gonna be ass. I'm just gonna put that out there. I have a strong suspicion that this fight is gonna be ass. That they're just gonna go out there and have a touch butt session or something, and that's gonna really piss me off if I buy this premium subscription and these guys are dicking around. But to be fair, credit to DAZN. And no, I'm not, you know, affiliated with DAZN at all. But just credit to them. They're putting out some good content right now. There's no debating that. DAZN is definitely the king of boxing at the moment. You know, they have all the best heavyweights. You know, they're putting on the best fights. Even outside of the heavyweight division, there's fights like Morrell and Callum Smith. That's a good fight. That's a good fight, you know. So DAZN is putting out some great content. So I'm not gonna be too upset. But you know, back to the fight at hand. I just got a suspicion, man, that they're gonna. It'll kind of be like when Ngannou and Derek Lewis fought each other. You know, everybody wants a Mandingo slugfest, but we might end up with two big buff black dudes all sweaty just staring at each other, you know, like some sort of gay porno or whatever. I don't know. So I hope we don't get that, dude. I hope we don't get that, because that would just really piss me off. But they're giving off weird energy, you know. I don't know what it is with Wilder, man. You know, Tyson Fury he broke that man. It's, I mean, you saw it today. Chisora brought out the mask, and, you know, it's just so obvious that Wilder can't move past the beatdown he took down from Tyson Fury. He just feels almost emasculated by it, you know? When in reality he shouldn't, you know, because he fought valiantly. You know, I'm not the biggest Wilder fan. Yeah, I'm based here in the U.S. You know, clearly I'm African American, if you haven't noticed. But, you know, I was never the biggest Wilder fan. I thought he held up the division. I thought he cherry-picked crap opponents. I think the evidence is clear he ducked Anthony Joshua. You turned out $100 million because DAZN won't tell you how much AJ is making. It's the most brain-dead, asinine way of thinking and doing business I've ever heard of. Like, you give me $100 million, I don't care what you make, you know. But that's here nor there. We all know that Wilder, Fury avoided Joshua and held up the division for a long period of time. The evidence is there. I don't care what people say. You know, the evidence is clearly there. But anywho, even though I've had my bones to pick with Wilder, when he was confident, you know, and locked in, he was ferocious. You know, he was ferocious. Yeah, he was knocking out bums, and that's all he ever knocked out, you know, and he put down Tyson Fury, but Fury can be hurt, so that's not that impressive to me. But the way he put some of these bums away, it was highlight reel television. Nobody's gonna lie. I enjoyed watching his knockouts. He was entertaining, limited as he was. You know, he's essentially a failed basketball player. You know, strong, athletic guy, but very limited skills. Very limited skills. But his greatest asset was his delusion and his confidence, and he's been stripped of that, right? Like Tyson Fury beat some sense into him. He beat reality into him, and I don't think Wilder's ever been the same. Like, people blame the ayahuasca. I don't think it's that. I think the man's just lost his confidence, you know? And confidence is everything in the sport. And if you're not confident, it doesn't matter what you do in training, how much running you did, the kind of condition you're in. More likely than not, you're gonna get chinned, you know, because you got to be willing to pull the trigger. And lately, he just hasn't seemed willing to do that. So if I were to make a prediction, you know, even though Chisora hasn't looked great, you know, I mean, he keeps winning. You know, Joe Joyce and Otto Wallin are solid wins. They're solid wins. But he hasn't looked fantastic. And you know, I think by comparison, if you gave someone like Usyk, Joe Joyce, or Wallin, or Atauma, or even Tyson Fury at this stage, those fights wouldn't have been competitive. So he hasn't looked great, but he's looked better than Wilder. I mean, Wilder looked terrible against Joseph Parker, and you know, the Zhang fight, that knockout will never not be funny to me. Just the way he spun him around and then, you know, hit him with that right hook, you know, classic knockout by Zhang, you know. So you're getting knocked out by guys who are notorious for having poor gas tanks, you know, in Gilles Jean, you know, because you're so inactive. I think Chisora's just going to swarm him. I think Chisora's just going to be all over him, throwing lots of arm punches, but it's going to be enough. He's going to be too close to Wilder to where Wilder won't throw, you know, and I think he's just going to smother him and drown him. I'm not sure about the stoppage, you know, but at this stage, you know, both of these guys, they're old. They're old, they're washed up, you know, so anything can happen. Chisora, he punches hard enough to where I could see it happening late. So if I were a betting man, I don't gamble anymore, but if I were a betting man, I'd probably put Chisora down for a knockout in the 9th or 10th round, you know. So I guess that'll be my prediction: Chisora by knockout, round 9 or 10. So we'll see. I'll check in with you guys tomorrow after the fight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Peace.